Welcome to the Kareem Report, aka Mr. 100 Likes. How you guys doing? Wow, let's get to it. Let's get to it, man. Woo! I want to talk about the Gilbert Arenas show today. Gilbert Arenas show had a special guest today with Dwight Howard, also Brandon Jennings, Rashad McCants, and Josiah. They all was on the panel today, right? Now, Dwight Howard talked about leaving the Lakers, leaving Kobe Bryant to play with James Harden and the Houston Rockets, that he made a huge mistake. And I've been saying this from the time he did that to anyone who listened. I was telling people that's a big mistake people making. I knew from a long time ago that James Harden didn't have a big heart and have a winning competitiveness in you to lead as him being the best player. Yes, he's talented, but I knew he didn't have do the little things it takes to be the champion, and he didn't have it in him to do the necessary things to lead a team as him being the best player. And when he made that move to listen to James Harden and Chandler Parson when they had him to leave the Lakers, I knew that was a big mistake. And the media played the big part because I remember a lot of times the media kept pumping up, oh, he's leaving, going to Houston. And the media definitely was on top of it. And everybody was saying he's going to Houston. Me personally, I didn't think so. When the Lakers at the deadline, I was hearing a lot of noise. Golden State really offered a lot. They wanted Dwight Howard bad at that time. And I was like, the Lakers would be a fool to get rid of Dwight Howard. And I didn't think Dwight Howard would leave the Lakers. But he left the Lakers and he made a big mistake. You could play with Kobe Bryant, play with James Harden, and he see that now. But he was able to come back and win a championship and, ride off in the sunset. And the Laker fans, he made amends with the Laker fans because Laker fans hated Dwight Howard. And they talked about a few things on the show. They asked him about not making the top 75. And my thing was, I felt that he should have made the top 75. It ain't no question that he should have made the top 75. But this is the issue I have with Gilbert Arenas about. I always defended Gilbert Arenas. I thought that he had like a high knowledge about the game, and I always said that an organization should pick Gilbert Arenas up and put them in an organization. I felt that he'd be a big asset to an organization. Lately, I guess now that he got this show running full time, like I said this a while back when he used to be by himself talking basketball. I don't know if he just doing this for clicks. I really don't know what it's about, but he be saying a lot of wild takes. And my thing is, I don't get why he mentioned Patrick Ewing to make his point with Dwight Howard. He said, now, Dwight, tell me that it's some guys that you better than that's on the list that you could have been on the top 75, and he brought up Patrick Ewing. This is the issue I have with that. Now, like I said, I don't know what's Gilbert's motive, but Dwight Howard spoke on that and talked about Patrick Ewing. Number one, Patrick Ewing is not a bum. I didn't like Patrick Ewing personally. I was not a fan of Patrick Ewing. I'm not gonna say I ain't like him personally, like as I had a personal problem with Pat Ewing, but he was a Knick. I can't stand the Knick, even though I'm from New York, but I couldn't stand the Knicks, and I always went against him. But he was far from a bum. Patrick Ewing was a great NBA player. He put up good numbers, and Patrick Ewing led his team to an NBA final. He led his team, being the best player, to the NBA finals. And I think that Gilbert, like he always, anytime he can, he always take a shot at the guys back in the days. And like I said, he don't have no chance of ever being a part of an organization. I think he killed all his chances the way he carry on his show. Maybe he at the point where he don't care. But me personally, I'm never going to sacrifice my knowledge and something I truly believe in to get clicks and views. That's why my channel may only go to a certain limit because I'm not willing to just do stuff for clicks and stuff I don't mean. I don't know if he don't mean it or not, but the single pick Dwight Howard, I think that was crazy. I mean, Patrick Ewing, I think, was crazy. He started yelling out the numbers. Gilbert always, first thing he always go with offense. He don't know nothing else. You have to watch the game and look at the whole picture of everything when you make these assessments like that. And the first thing he jumps out on scoring. But Patrick Ewing had a lot of offensive game, but he wanted to pick out the parts that he knew fell up in Dwight Howard favor. How many times, Josiah said this part, but they could compared the numbers with Patrick Ewing, the defensive rebounding. Dwight Howard, we all know, you could just watch it, ain't have to look at the numbers. You know he had a better rebounding career and he was a better defensive player. But Patrick Ewing was clearly a better all-around offensive player than Dwight Howard. So a lot of times they speak on things like that. But it was plenty of guys that he could have picked that he didn't pick. But then later on, this is why I said maybe I'm lost. But then later on, he sat there and he brought up Anthony Davis, Dame Lillard, and I think Kyrie. And he brought up them guys like them guys should have been in the top 100, and they still act. That's what he should have said in the first place. The single pick Patrick Ewing and say these things about Pat, and I think it would have been a better argument if he would have brought up Anthony Davis from the gate. But I think you should have been over there over Anthony Davis. Gilbert don't have no smoke for a lot of guys, especially today's superstar players. He really don't have nothing. He go at them with kid gloves. When he say something, his kid gloves is real nice. When the star players, he don't care about the role players. He will go in on today's role players, but the star players, he's with kid gloves with everything. There's a lot of biasness. I even see it with James Harden, which, they should go more hard at James Harden, but everything is a little biasness with today's superstars. So when he said that, and he's like, yeah, Anthony Davis, great, he could be on the top 100. Like I said, it was kid gloves compared to, he tried to make a point with Patrick Ewing. And my thing is, with Anthony Davis never led a team to the finals. Patrick Ewing did. Patrick Ewing, as the best player on the team, his next best player on his team was John Starks, not even no other All-Star. And Patrick Ewing led his team to the NBA Finals. Anthony Davis never did that. And he had LeBron James, which, Anthony Davis was, LeBron James still was like, that's LeBron James. So he never led a team by itself to an NBA Finals. So you can't really say, oh, you would have been better off with an argument with Anthony Davis than Patrick Ewing. You know what I mean? Patrick Ewing, like I said, his own, not even counting many a times his teams went to the playoffs. So, like I said, Gilbert, he be having his own agenda when it come to that. And then another thing was suspect, a conversation they had, Rashad McCants brought this up. He's like, they talked about Andre Iguodala. They talked about he retired after 19 seasons in the NBA. He retired. And Rashad McCants said that Andre Iguodala is better than Kawhi Leonard. Like, how Brandon Jennings, spoke up. But see, Brandon Jennings, the thing with Brandon Jennings, I think he had to get a little more boisterous because but he's quiet. He got the soft tone. He say a little something, but he could have went in a lot more than he did. Gilbert and Rashad McCants, they voice overdrown Brandon Jennings. But I couldn't even believe this. But my thing is, we know Rashad McCants say some off-the-wall stuff. Gilbert, I get maybe you want some clicks for your show, but I think your show is good. You don't have to do that. Real basketball fans going to respect the show and respect your knowledge on his own. And my thing, you got Rashad McCants, the guy who going to say some weird stuff off the wagon stuff anyway. He says all type of crazy shit. So you got him already where you and Brandon, pretty much you, because Brandon, like I said, is pretty much laid back and more reserved. You could have went at Rashad McCants with that nonsense when he even talked about Kawhi Leonard is better than, Andre Iguodala is better than Kawhi. No way in hell he better than Kawhi. Like, how can you say that? And then Gilbert was trying to sit there and say, well, the finals, Andre Iguodala got a finals MVP, and Kawhi Leonard, Brandon Jennings said Kawhi Leonard got 2. And Gilbert was like, no, Kawhi Leonard basically got 1 because you can't count that for the Spurs because they got him. He came off the bench and he played defense, and LeBron still put up numbers, and they put him in the game, and because he was probably the best defender to guard LeBron, they gave him MVP, and LeBron still got his numbers. You can literally say the exact same thing with Andre Iguodala. You can literally say the exact same thing. LeBron still got his numbers, and Andre Iguodala got the MVP. They both got MVP in similar fashions where they both played a good job on LeBron James, even though LeBron got his numbers, but they both played a good job on LeBron James. And both, Kawhi early in his career, they both got MVPs. So Gilbert said, well, scratch that, let it be 1-1. Okay, let's scratch one of them. You still can't compare his MVP compared to what Kawhi did. Kawhi did it as being the best player on the team. Andre Iguodala never was the best player on his team. Andre Iguodala played 19 years and only averaged. Gilbert this is why you know the bullshit in the game. Gilbert, any other time, he go right to the numbers. He didn't do that. Andre Iguodala averaged double figures in 8 of 19 years. 8 of 19 years, he averaged double figures. And he never averaged double figures playing in Golden State. Now, 1 year he averaged double figures playing in Golden State. And his career high in points was 19-9. He don't even have a 20, even though you want to round it off, but he didn't even have a 20-point season. It was 19-9, his career high in scoring. Then they said defense, Kawhi's a pit bull on defense. Let's just say if they both even on defense. I don't have to go through that. I just think that was crazy. And you lose respect for somebody's basketball knowledge when they come like that, even they try to defend it. Like I said, you could take away Dwight Howard, Kawhi Leonard first MVP with the Spurs. You could take that away. And let's just say you want to stick with the one he did in Toronto. He did it and won a championship as him being the best player. That's a big difference. You being the best player and lead your team to a championship, then you're a role player and you happen to have a solid NBA Finals, it's totally two different things. And Kawhi, and a poll, I'm surprised it wasn't even that close. And I think, like I said, the people, it was 71, I think 29, something like that. The poll was 71 to 29, I believe. People said Kawhi. It should have been 100-0. Like, there's no way anybody who watch NBA, Andre Iguodala never was a better player than Kawhi Leonard. I don't care them little bit people who said that he was a better player. It shouldn't even been that. That shows me, and I think what happened was when they did the poll, when they had Gilbert defending it, and Gilbert ain't say Kawhi, Andre Iguodala was better. He was like on the fence about it, and that's just even worse. Like I said, Rashad McCants always say some off-the-wall shit. So I think that sways some people to even think that. How can you watch NBA even? That's not even that's not even comparison. You can't. Kawhi Leonard, and then they talk about, then Gilbert's like, if you compare the beginnings, and then, no. You could compare how many years Kawhi got in the NBA. Let's say if Kawhi got 10 or 9 years in the NBA. Do that. Compare their first 9 years. If you want to do that. You know what I mean? If you want to compare it. And that was Iguodala best. He played 9 years in Philadelphia, and 8 out the 9, he averaged double figures. His first year in the NBA, he didn't average double figures, and once he left, 1 year after he left, he averaged with Denver Nuggets. He averaged 13, I believe. But you can't compare the two. And like I said, that's bad business skill. And like I said, with this Hall of Fame stuff, and they brought up Jamal Crawford as a Hall of Fame player. Hall of Fame is weak anyway. Hall of Fame is super weak, and my thing is, when you think Hall of Fame, it's not Rashad McCann said, oh, of course, Jamal Crawford, a Hall of Famer, he scored 50 points on 5 different teams. Like, that's not Hall of Fame. Hall of Fame, the one you can, I feel if you never was the best player on your team, you at least the best, definitely at least number 2. And if you're gonna be number 2, you a championship team. To me, you had to be like a 2, like a McHale. Kevin McHale was the second best player. He's a clearly Hall of Fame. You're on a championship team. You're not going to be a clear Hall of Fame and you don't even win championships. But for the most part, you got to be at least the best player on your team for many years, not no one season. You got to carry a team. Like I just don't like the Hall of Fame. Like some stuff shouldn't even be like how. How? Like, how can you even think that? Because he scored points. He never was the best player on his team. Not even the top 3. The top 3 players on the team. He comes off the bench. He get hot. He drop buckets. Then some games he get cold. He shoot 38% from the field. Like, no way. Like, come on. The Hall of Fame is watered down. But these guys definitely got to do a better job. And when they breaking down basketball, I'm getting really frustrated because I love real good basketball talk. I like to listen to. I stroll down on different channels. But when it's nonsense, it kills me. And then my thing is, maybe, like I said, I'm outdated. Maybe that's the new wave where it's good to talk nonsense and clickbait stuff for to get more views, more subscribers. But I just can't do it. I can't, because I'm going to stand on my basketball knowledge at the end of the day. And I'm standing on what I believe in. I'm not can't just say nothing for clicks. I just can't, because there's no way in the hell you watch that much basketball and even to be a debate. That's something I could wake up out my sleep tired than a mother, and they say, Doc, who's better, Kawhi Leonard or Andre Iguodala? I could wake up the middle of the night while he's thinking and say Kawhi Leonard. That's not even a debate, or I had to think for a second. So come on, man, don't do that, man. Like, the show, to me, get watered down. Like I said, you got Rashad McCants there. That's basically your crash dummy. That's the guy who's going to keep your show going, who's going to say the nonsense, and then you could defend it. Like I said, Brandon Jennings made some points, but he got overshadowed because his argument, like I say, low tone. And the first thing I would have said, Brandon, to eat their whole conversation, would have been like, because Gilbert tried to sit there and say, oh, he brought in as a defender and LeBron still got his numbers. I would have said that's the same thing happened in that series. They both averaged around 14 points. Iguodala and Kawhi both they was like, and you can't get identical than that. They both was wing players that averaged maybe like 14 points, played solid defense on LeBron. LeBron still got some numbers, but they definitely took LeBron out of his comfort zone, and they got MVP. One wasn't the best player. You had 3 players that was better than Kawhi at the time with Parker, Ginobili, and Duncan, and you had maybe 3 better players than you definitely had 3, maybe 4 better players with the Warriors, and Steph, Clay, Draymond, and you might could sit there and say Harrison Barnes. So they both was in identical spots where, if you compare that, they did the exact same thing. They had a great player like LeBron James, and they did play a role in that. But offensively, they both was around the same. So I don't know how Brandon Jennings didn't even make that point strong. But tell me what you guys think, man. Like, comment, share, subscribe. Peace.